Hi, everyone. Welcome to the MMOA podcast. My name is Kay Mayordomo. I'm an outpatient physical therapist and a TA for the Modern Management of the Older Adult Division of ICE Physio. So, before we get into the topic, I just wanted to say happy birthday to Anushka. She's one of our other TAs. So, if you are listening to this and you know her, please wish her a happy birthday. And I also wanted to go over a few upcoming courses. So MMOA Live is going to be in Windsor, Colorado, and Fort Mill, South Carolina this upcoming weekend, and also in Edmond, Oklahoma, September 16th weekend. So today we'll be talking about what's meaningful. So this weekend I went to a PT school friend's wedding. The ceremony included getting up a ski lift, to the ceremony site mid-mountain, which also included their grandparents going up this lift, having to get off, walk down a ramp, which I thought was such a cool entrance, and grandparents just being part of grandkids' weddings always gets me, so I almost cried there. And there's just something really special about grandparents being able to participate and be part of their grandkids' weddings. There was also a granddaughter and grandma dance, and I almost lost it then too. My friend and her grandma had such great dance moves, and it was really beautiful and cool to see. You could hear the crowd cheering her on, and my friend's grandma had such great dance moves. I overheard someone saying that dancing was how she met her husband. But yeah, just super cool day. So, anyway, the point of me telling you this is that we have to find what's meaningful in the patient's life. What kind of things do they want to participate in that they truly want to get back to, or that they're anticipating that is going to happen soon? So, first, we have to take some time out of the session to either simply ask what activities are important to you. Sometimes you'll get it when you ask them how their weekend was or something that they're looking forward to. They might share with you that they are going, or that they're going on a trip to Ireland, or they could tell you that they spent time with their grandkids but really struggled getting onto the floor, or trying to lift them was really hard. So sometimes when our patients are stuck in such a pain cycle or have pretty negative age beliefs about themselves, those things that are important to them or that they want to be able to do don't always come out during their subjective on day one. These are the types of people who will just tell you, like, I just don't want pain. And you're like, okay, but what else? So sometimes it comes out later when the pain isn't always, or isn't consuming them as much anymore. And it starts to become more pertinent that, okay, yeah, I do want to participate in more things. They may have written it off before this point, that they didn't have the capability to do that. So once you figure out these meaningful activities, talk it through with them. What are the parts of that activity that they want to achieve? Do they need to be able to get up from the floor while gardening because they have poor balance and have lost their balance and fell, and they don't want to give up gardening just because of this? Do they need to be able to get off of a ski lift and walk down a rocky path for their granddaughter or grandson's wedding? Do they need to be able to do a dance with their grandkid getting married? Or do they want to be able to walk longer because that's when they spend time with their spouse? So these are the things that we really need to dig into, especially when you might not have been able to get those goals or those activities out of them the first visit or so. Once you find that, make sure you're breaking it up into doable amounts. Because the last thing we want to do is overwhelm them and make them think that this is an impossible task. And then they'll just go right back to thinking, well, I'm too old to do this. I can't do that anymore. They'll just have to like wheel me in, or I just will hire a gardener even though I really love to do it. So, for example, my patient had a goal of getting up from the ground without needing a chair or anything to hold on to while in the garden, because he just didn't want to he just doesn't have access to all those things and doesn't want to bring stuff out to where he's gardening. He was limited by poor control of his dorsiflexors, and he had some strength in his plantar flexors, but it's still coming back after lumbar surgery. A half kneel to lunge variation was way too much for him at the time. So we started with an inchworm variety while also working on his strength for the half kneel to lunge variety. We started from seated to going to a bear crawl because he has pretty good shoulder stability and core strength. And then we progressed that to a seated to chest on the ground, and then coming back to seated. And finally, we went from the ground into an inchworm to standing. So there are a lot of ways that you can break up these tasks to make the patient feel really confident and capable. Because if we go right into the activity and it's something that they can't quite do yet, it'll get them back into their thought cycles that they can't. So it's kind of like a little bit of cognitive behavioral therapy as well, CBT. But yeah, just make sure these three things: you're taking the time out of your session to ask your patients what is important to them or what is meaningful to them. You're talking it through with them and kind of gauging which parts of the activity are challenging for that patient and where do they want to be, pretty much. Like, do they want to be a part of their granddaughter or grandson's wedding? Do they need to be able to get off of the floor or get onto the floor? And really break it up into what's hard for them. And once you break it up, you're going to work with them and make it into doable amounts, like breaking down a floor transfer from seated to bear crawl or something like that. So I believe it's every bit of our duty to get people back to meaningful things in life. And sometimes those meaningful things aren't things that they've thought about for a really long time, either because of pain or because they just haven't been confident or capable in their abilities to do those things. Like, it's been years since they've kneeled onto the floor or even gotten onto the floor. They haven't walked on rocky terrain in a really long time because they have poor balance and people have told them to be careful. So it truly is every bit of our duty to get people back to meaningful things in their life and helping them recognize that they are capable of doing these things. It just takes a bit of work and literally step-by-step increments to help them gain their confidence. Because sometimes it's not just about walking, it's not just about working out to get them stronger, but what things mean a lot to them that they want to continue to participate in. So let that sink in and drop in the comments something fun or cool that you've gotten your patients back to. I hope you all had a great Labor Day weekend and are having a good week so far. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.